Echoes of absence. The guardians call the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over Forks as the last remnants of daylight faded. Bella Swan stood on the porch of her humble house, arms wrapped around herself for warmth, though it was not the chill of the evening air that made her shiver. Her heart ached with a profound emptiness, a vacuum left by the sudden absence of Edward Cullen. Just 2 days prior, Alice had burst into their shared cottage, her eyes wide with urgency. "We have to leave, Bella," she'd gasped, breathless from teleporting. "Edward's in trouble. He needs me." Before Bella could protest or ask questions, Alice had grabbed her brother's hand and vanished, leaving Bella alone with the echo of their departure. The news spread like wildfire through Forks High. The Cullens were gone. They'd disappeared without a trace overnight. Rumors swirled. Some said they'd moved to protect themselves from the Volturi. Others whispered about a secret life in hiding, away from prying human eyes. Bella knew only one truth: Edward had left her behind. As days turned into weeks, Bella noticed strange occurrences happening around Forks. There were reports of livestock attacks, increased sightings of wolves, and even rumors of humans going missing. The police struggled to explain these incidents, attributing them variously to wild animals or pranks gone wrong. But Bella knew something more sinister was at play. One evening, while patrolling the forest with Jacob Black, they stumbled upon a scene that sent shivers down their spines. A body lay slumped against a tree trunk, lifeless eyes staring into nothingness, its neck torn open and bloodied. The scent of vampire hung heavy in the air. "This isn't right," Jake growled, crouching beside the corpse. "Vamps don't usually kill for sport." Bella nodded solemnly, her heart pounding with fear and determination. She knew she had to find out who was behind these murders before more lives were lost. But how could she investigate when she didn't even know where to start? Meanwhile, Alice continued to glimpse fragments of possible futures in Paris. Among the chaos of vampire politics and power struggles, she occasionally caught sight of Bella facing off against some unknown foe back home. These visions worried her deeply. They showed Bella fighting alone, without Edward's protection or guidance. Alice debated whether to return to Forks, but feared that drawing attention to herself would only put Bella in more danger. Instead, she reached out to Rosalie via email, explaining the situation and asking for her help. Rosalie agreed readily, offering to keep an eye on Bella from afar while Alice continued gathering information about the Volturi's movements. Back in Forks, Bella threw herself into solving the mystery of the recent attacks. She began patrolling more frequently with Jake, hoping his keen werewolf senses might pick up something useful. They discovered clues suggesting that the assailants were indeed vampires, but not any they recognized from the Cullen family or their allies. Bella decided to reach out to the Olympic Coven for help, contacting Carlisle directly through a secure email address Alice had provided her years ago. She explained what was happening in Forks and asked if he knew of any rogue vampires who might be targeting small towns. Carlisle responded swiftly, expressing his concern but offering little concrete assistance. He suggested Bella keep a low profile until Edward returned, or they could send someone to help. Meanwhile, tension grew between the Wolf Pack and the Swan household. Sam Yulee became increasingly paranoid about Bella's involvement with the Cullens, blaming them for the recent attacks on his pack members. He accused Bella of harboring vampires in Forks, putting everyone at risk. This led to heated arguments between Bella and Jake, straining their friendship. As if these challenges weren't enough, Bella started experiencing vivid dreams about Edward, only they were unlike any she'd had before. In her dreams, Edward seemed frightened, pleading with her for something. She woke up each night feeling more confused than ever about his intentions and whereabouts. Let's continue from here, incorporating these new elements into the story. Bella sat at the kitchen table, rubbing her temples as Charlie drank his coffee across from her. The sun had barely risen, but she'd been unable to sleep after another disturbing dream about Edward. This one ended with him reaching out a bloody hand towards her before disappearing into darkness. "Morning, sweetheart," Charlie said, noticing her distraction. "You all right?" Not really, Bella admitted, pushing away her untouched breakfast. I had another weird dream about Edward last night. Charlie frowned, concern etched on his weathered face. Have you considered talking to Jacob about this? He's been through something similar with you before. Bella hesitated, remembering how she'd once dreamed of a future where Jacob and she were together, only for that vision to change drastically after her near-death experience. She shook her head. I don't know if it would help. These dreams are different. They feel more urgent somehow. Just then, the telephone rang. Charlie rose to answer it, but Bella beat him to it, her hand reaching out automatically. It was Rosalie, calling from Italy. Bella. Her voice was rushed, worried. I've seen something in my visions. You're in danger. There's a new threat coming to Forks. Bella listened intently as Rosalie described her premonition, a group of hostile werewolves led by a powerful alpha werewolf intent on challenging the Cullens' dominance over their territory and eliminating any human who got in their way. I have to go, Bella said firmly after hanging up. She couldn't abandon Forks, not with this kind of threat looming. She owed it to her friends, to Jake, to protect them until Edward returned. With renewed determination, Bella began preparing for the impending battle. She trained with Jake and his pack, learning their strengths and weaknesses, as well as how to fight alongside them without becoming a liability. She also reached out to other supernatural beings in the area, seeking allies against this new enemy. Meanwhile, back in Paris, Alice received news of the impending danger through Rosalie's visions. Despite Edward's desire to protect Bella from harm, Alice convinced him they needed to return to Forks immediately. They couldn't abandon their home or allow innocent lives to be put at risk because of their absence. Upon their arrival in Forks, Edward and Alice were shocked by the changes they found in Bella. She had grown stronger, more confident, taking charge while they were gone. Though initially hurt that she hadn't contacted them for help, they soon realized Bella's determination to face this threat on her own was born out of love, not just for Forks, but also for them. Together, the Cullens, Swan, and Black worked tirelessly to protect their town from destruction. Alongside new allies such as the Denali clan and even some members of the Volturi Guard who sympathized with their cause, they devised a plan to eliminate or neutralize the threat once and for all. As Bella fought alongside her friends and loved ones, she discovered that while Edward had indeed returned, so too had his old fears about her safety. Their reunion was bittersweet. Though they were happier than ever to be reunited, tension lingered between them regarding Bella's role in battles. In the midst of these external challenges, Bella also grappled with internal struggles. She faced moments of doubt about her feelings for Edward, questioning whether she could still love him as deeply after all this time apart and change within herself. Meanwhile, Jacob remained steadfast by her side, offering support and comfort even as he harbored his own unspoken feelings. To further complicate matters, Alice returned periodically with cryptic warnings and visions of danger, only to vanish again before Bella could question her or gain clarification on the future she'd seen. This left Bella feeling constantly off balance, unsure what lay ahead, but determined nonetheless to face it head-on. Finally, after weeks of preparation and anticipation, the moment arrived. The hostile werewolf pack challenged Forks' supernatural inhabitants to a battle for dominance. With Bella standing side by side with Edward, Alice, Jake, and their allies, they faced off against the enemy forces in a tense standoff deep within the heart of the Olympic forest. The fight was fierce, brutal, and long, but ultimately, through strategic planning, clever use of each side's strengths and weaknesses, and sheer determination on behalf of Forks' defenders, victory was theirs. The hostile Alpha was defeated, his pack members scattered or surrendered, leaving Bella's friends safe once more. In the aftermath, Bella reflected upon her journey since Edward's departure. She had grown so much as a person, learning to rely on herself while also forging stronger bonds with those around her. Though she missed the old days of simplicity and peace, she knew now that nothing worth having comes without sacrifice or struggle. As she looked into Edward's eyes, Filled with love and adoration, Bella realized she wouldn't trade these experiences for anything. For even in darkness and danger, they had grown together, their love stronger than ever before.